911 emergency.
Now listen carefully, okay? Bump the chest hard and fast.
Hello, 911.
Welcome to Hollywood Departed. Today we will talk about Sam Kinison. He was loud, raw, rebellious, and completely unforgettable. Sam Kinison wasn't just a comedian. He was a storm of fury, fire, and fearless truth. But behind the scream was a complex man whose life took more twists than his wildest jokes. Sam Kinison was born on December 8, 1953, in Yakima, Washington. Raised in a deeply religious household, Sam's early years were spent not in comedy clubs, but behind the pulpit. Following in his father's footsteps, he became a Pentecostal preacher, delivering sermons with fire and conviction. But life had other plans. After a failed marriage and struggling to make ends meet, Kinison stepped away from the ministry and into the world of stand-up comedy in the early 1980s.
When you go up to them, and they go, hi there, hi. Listen, is that your heart? That's my kind of girl. And the ones that are really honest about it, I like those. The girls are just...
What made Kinison different? That scream. His signature yell, loud, guttural, almost primal, wasn't just a gimmick. It became his weapon.
Hungry!
Sam used it to blast through taboos, tackle social issues, and rip into topics like religion, relationships, and politics with savage honesty and no apologies.
I'm like anybody else on the planet. I'm very moved by world hunger. I see the same commercials. Those little kids starving and very depressed. And I watch these things on TV and I see those commercials and I look at it and I go, God, how cruel, To see a little kid out there and I go, fuck, I know the film crew could give this kid a sandwich. The kid's not out there, filming a letter from home with a Betamax, huh?
Kinison's big break came when Rodney Dangerfield featured him in a now legendary HBO stand-up special. Almost overnight, he was a star. He lit up The Tonight Show, Late Night with David Letterman.
There's still time to call the church and call all this off. I know a lot of you come here, you watch TV, you wait every night for somebody to come on here and give you an answer for your lives, waiting for someone that'll come and say, hey, this is it. I don't have to settle for defeat anymore. I can rise up out of my routine. I can get a hold of myself. I don't have to lose. I can win. There's something inside me that's not going to let me go down anymore. But I'm not the guy.
And released hit comedy albums like Louder Than Hell and Have You Seen Me Lately? He even took a stab at Hollywood, appearing in movies like Back to School.
So why don't we dive right in by interpreting one of the easiest events in the last 20 years of American history. Now, can someone tell me why in 1975 we pulled our troops out of Vietnam?
The failure of Vietnamization to win popular support caused an ongoing erosion of confidence in the various American but illegal Saigon regimes.
Is she right? Because I know that's the popular version of what went on there. I know a lot of people like to believe that. I wish I could, but I was there. I wasn't here in a classroom, hoping I was right, thinking about it. I was up to my knees in rice paddies with guns, and then we're going up against Charlie, slugging it out with him, while pussies like you were back here partying, putting headbands on, doing drugs, listening to the goddamn Beatle albums. Oh! Oh!
And making guest appearances on shows like Married with Children.
I'm sorry, Bundy, I failed you. I was supposed to show you why you should live, but I can't think of one darn reason. I'll never get my wings now. And you know what kind of woman you get in heaven driving around a 78 Pinto? The same kind of woman you get down here driving around a 78 Pinto.
But with fame came excess. Sam was a staple of the hard-partying Hollywood scene, rubbing shoulders with rock stars, indulging in drugs and alcohol, and living a life that many said couldn't last forever. On April 10th, 1992, just 6 days after marrying his girlfriend, Malika Sawiri, Sam Kinison was driving along a remote highway near Needles, California, when his car was struck head-on by a 17-year-old drunk driver. After the crash, Kinison appeared stable, with only minor visible facial wounds. He got out of his vehicle and sat down on the side of the road, where he soon died from internal injuries. His head had smashed the windshield. He was 38 years old. His wife received a concussion in the collision, but later recovered after being taken directly to a hospital in Needles for treatment. Kinison's last words were reportedly stated to no one in particular at the crash scene, as Sam Kinison appeared to be talking to someone in the distance, and Sam said, "Why now?" Then, after a pause to listen for an answer, Kinison asked, "But why?" And after another pause, said, "Okay, okay, okay." A friend who was with him at the time later recalled, "Whatever voice was talking to him gave him the right answer, and he just relaxed with
Comedian
it."
Sam Kinison is dead, killed in a car crash late last night. But who will ever forget the man who made his audiences laugh by screaming at them?
Oh, I cheated on her a little bit, sure. One-night stands, nobody knew, but I didn't have to go to federal prison!
Kinison was buried at Memorial Park Cemetery in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where his gravestone reads, "In another time and place, he would have been called prophet." Love him or hate him, Sam Kinison changed the landscape of comedy forever. He was raw, real, and completely unfiltered. A voice that screamed what others were too afraid to say. And though his time on earth was short, his echo still rings out, loud and clear. If you enjoyed this tribute, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more stories from the lives and legacies of comedy's greatest legends. Rest in peace, Sam Kinison. You made us laugh. You made us think. And you made sure we heard you, loud and clear.
He's not breathing yet. He's not breathing, and we need to.